Hey, 1 2 1 2. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This your boy Samin, and I'm going to welcome you to the Semi Is Show. Thank you for hanging out with me just a little bit. Just got a couple moments for you. It's getting late, so I got things to do, as we all do. Man, it's been a little bit. I took a little bit of a break. Here, of course, my phone and my everything starts to wait until I do just this. It's almost like doing other things and then the door gets knocked on. Like you didn't bother me all evening. Now you want some water, like that type of stuff. So is life. So I've been trying to get some stuff together. I've been getting the podcast stuff clarified. I've been editing and getting some up. I have 25 actual episodes on all my streaming places. So it's Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, and I think it's one more, but it's there. The Sam Myers Show. So I've been working on that. I've been doing some stuff with the other social medias, and I'm just trying to figure it out. And I've been real quiet. I've been taking a break. This new year has been good. I've been working out, doing all the things, right? Doing all the things. And I was looking at what I wanted to talk about because not doing it every day became a habit. In like 3 days, I was like, oh well, that was fun. And I was like, nah, son, you got to come back. So my plan was to do something earlier today, and it was on the ration care, which was which was odd to me because we have like this number of deaths with COVID, like this astronomical number, and all the numbers of all the people who have the virus. And now there's a vaccine. There's multiple vaccines, and there's frontline and who gets it first, and the elderly. And then they mentioned ration care. And I looked up, I didn't understand what that was. I know what I heard, and I wanted to look and see what it actually meant. But then it left what it is it leaves it to the discretion of the care worker, so like the EMT, to decide who is going to go to the hospital, right? That brings up stuff for me, right? That brings up stuff for me. Like, so who is this person that's now going to decide if me, Samin, gets to go to the hospital based on what? So that's what I wanted to talk about. I had some points on that, and I was really focused. I actually started writing notes, and then of course we know what today is, and we know what happened. So I was like, well, you're definitely going to get on there today, and I've been watching it, and the 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 insanity at Capitol Hill. I don't know if it's on Capitol Hill or at Capitol Hill, but I think it's on Capitol Hill, right? Whatever it is, it's insane. It's insanity happening, and I'm watching it, right? And I'm watching it, and I'm feeling a sort of way. Now I don't know if I'm feeling what other people are feeling. How could I? But I'm watching people act up. Now, initially, I'm watching CNN, and CNN is giving a cleaner, safer report of what's going on. You see it from the outside. It looks a little bizarre because I was watching it earlier today. It was 30,000. It didn't show the magnitude of the amount of people, like the width. It showed like it was condensed that fit in the camera, right? But when you sort of pan, it's a lot of people. A lot of potential for what eventually would happen. But I was on another channel, MNCBS, whatever, MSBCB. I was saying that with my brother. He was like, "Yeah, that's some dyslexia right there." But it was NBC, but another form of NBC, and they showed inside. They showed the inside. They showed the people breaking a window. I'm like, oh, what's this? Breaking a window with the stick and climbing in and basically just barging into this place, which is that the idea of that happening is it's not even a thought that would ever cross my mind. Not even if I was being chased, what I think to like, oh my God, I'm going to run and bust this window open, climb in here. But just as like a random idea that this is what we're going to do as a people. So, and I'm watching it, and the thing that comes to my mind is that's interesting. Like, where the police, right? Where's the security? Where's the stuff? Where's this Capitol Hill? Where's the stuff? I mean, you heard the president speak prior to this behavior. Storm, if you're upset, do all the stuff, all the fan in the flames. But where are the police? Where are the police? So what comes to my mind is, wow, is this no, this is disappointing. This is a disappointing blemish on a time in America for Americans, right? Like, I have people that I've been contacted from people. I have people in different countries who, when old boy acts up, they give me like a little, what's going on with your man? What's going on with your man? I have family in Canada. I haven't heard anything from them personally yet, but I have a friend in Paris who, like, yo, she hit me up like, yo, what's good? When are you and your family leaving and coming out here? Was really the statement she said. And it was like, because that is my plan. But looking at what's going on, the obvious thing is, right? The obvious statement is for me to say, if it were black people, they would be killed. If it was black people, they would have been shot. That's the most straightforward, but it's obvious, right? That's the obvious thing to say. If they were black, they would have been killed. Maybe not. Maybe not, right? And I'm not. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that I would have liked to see somebody shot and killed, because a woman was shot and killed. I don't know what that was about. But that's not what I want. Do I want them to be beat with sticks? I don't want a human being to be hurt by another person. I don't want that. Like, who I am, like a widower, the husband, the boyfriend, fiance, the dad to my little girl who, puts cream in her hair. Whatever, that person, this person right here, does not want anyone to be harmed. So I don't want that. I don't want them to be hurt and shot or treated the way I've seen people who look like me treated. I would just like maybe not to be treated like that, right? In the world, I would like for like no one to receive it. But the thing is, it's a subliminal conversation that tells me, like, what else would you expect to happen? What? And I was talking to my brother earlier, and I said, he was like, "This is crazy. This is crazy, because if that was us, we'd be shot." I mean, that's the first thing that came up for me. I can't speak for black people, but that's one of the first things that came up for me. Like, wow, if this was, and that's an unfortunate waste of time of a thought, because it's not. And why would I expect something different to happen? So I said, well, I mentioned his son's name, and I said, well, if he climbed in the window, what would you do to him? He was like, nothing, right? But what if somebody else climbed in your window? He was like, then it'll be a problem. Got that, right? So that's the subliminal to me is, y'all can't do what I do. You can't do what we do. You can't do certain things here. So don't even waste your time fantasizing about what it would have been if it was you, because it's not you. This is not you. This is me. This is us. And this is how we do things. You, on the other hand, we do things that we've always done. Like, when does that conversation not show up in these times? And it's a little bit scary. I'm sad by the need to be afraid, like, because remember, anger is secondary. Anger is a secondary emotion. And it's a lot of pop-offs with anger, right? Immediately, I'm angry. What came before that? Well, I was disappointed. I was a little bit scared, like, oh my God, this is looking like it's out of hand. Some people could get hurt. I don't want that to happen. But as I watch the police now start to swoon, and they not swoon, they're like waltzing in. It's like this slow, gentle caressing of the people, right? They're climbing all over the place. They're looking a mess. And then it brought up the other thing for me. America, the most harmful people, right? And this is one of my best friends said this. And he's a white man. Well, we're not friends anymore. But, he said, the most scary thing in this world is a poor white man. That's what he said, a poor white man. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, that's the most useless. They're useless. And I'm like, why do you say? He said, because America is theirs. So why are you poor? Why aren't you making your life what it could be? Because all opportunities come to them. And I'll take that. I didn't create it. I'm not going to argue it. I got my own issues and my own people to argue for and about. But really, what we see, and we see those people, and I've had this conversation with someone, mediocre men are terrorizing the world. Mediocre men. Mediocre, bottom of the barrel, just like, I'm not going to put a color on it, but there's something to be said about the men we saw there. I mean, the posture, the mannerism, the clothing, the intent, just the look of it. That was a group of mediocre people with some anger over their mediocrity, right? And it's this, and they want to hurt something and they want to alter something. And I thought about how fantastic the body of the president's people, like 75 million. Now I live in Princeton. I know some very rich, professional men and women, powerful, who are not mediocre. They're not mediocre in the world. But the masses, his main group is a group of mediocre people who feel like they missed out on something and it's somebody else's fault that has them be where they are, and they look for him to, I don't even know if they look for him. He just sparks that fire. It's like an instigator, He's a real instigator, and he gets them revved up, and they're already easily revved up. They're easily revved up, and we see what happens. Because what happened today was really, it was disgraceful. It was a disgrace to see that. And I stand behind that. This mediocre, it was, I mean, I just looking at the people, just looking at their faces, and I don't want to get into look at their clothing and but it just was a bunch of men, hillbillies, bumpkins. It just was like, yo, but of course you upset. Of course you want to go. This is our America. They were shouting that. They ran this black guy, this black security. I don't know if he had a gun, so he was a cop. They ran him up the stairs. I don't know if you saw that. He's tried to stop them. They're not aggressive, but they're the masses. And it's almost like this slow. I keep doing this move because that's how they move to me. It wasn't like, it wasn't craziness. It definitely wasn't like when, you see one of the garbage cans go through Target and all the cops swarming. Like, what are cops? What was the plan? What was the plan? And they just caress these people. Like, come on out. Let's go home. Let's go. Come on. Come. For real? For real, that's what this is. That's what we do. And it was a nonviolent. They were told to be nonviolent. Fantastic. Let's be nonviolent. Let's decide to be nonviolent. Let's be nonviolent when I'm out there. Let's be nonviolent when my people out there. Now it's like, see how it brings up my people, your people. Not the separation, but let's be nonviolent when it's about my issues. Let's be nonviolent when it's Jacob and he, you shoot him in the back 7 times. Let's be nonviolent. It bothers me the timing around being nonviolent, right? Because there were some black people sprinkled in there. It was about 8 to 10 black Trump supporters. I hope you got everything you wanted. which made me question, like, well, if it was a little bit more, would they have been a little bit more violent? I don't know. I don't know where they got the command to be nonviolent. Maybe they didn't want to disrespect further Capitol Hill. I don't know what the space was around that, but I know I sat here and I watched it and I listened, right? I listened to the newscaster saying everything but the elephant, speaking everything but the elephant. Oh, angry Trump supporters, Trumpsters, terrorism. That is an act of terrorism. Took a while to mention that. Took a while. And unfortunately, or fortunately, had to be a black senator to say that. Everybody else, they sugarcoat over it, which makes me question, is it just overall like, it's okay. We get that it's not fantastic, but we are trained not to be angry or disappointed with some of the actions of certain people. It's in that space for me, and I get caught up because I have love. I really have a love for people, and I have people from all different walks of life. And I'm going to play the safe line, but I have, white brother-in-laws. I have aunts through marriage. I have biracial relatives. I have people. I have really great friendships and connections with people from different races. And when I say different races, white people, right? So I don't have like this some ingrained hatred for a people, but as I'm watching some of the unfoldings or the peeling of the onion, it's just like, that stinks. That sucks. What's happening right now, that sucks. And I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to leave. Just be neutral. Just be neutral. But that's almost impossible. And I think about like Martin Luther King, and this is always the push to be nonviolent. It's nonviolent. You hit me in the head with a stick, nonviolent. Bust John Lewis head open, nonviolent. We're just gonna be nonviolent. You're gonna beat us. You're gonna punch us in the face. You're gonna do all kinds of things. Now I got my own stories of being in positions where people of authority, right? Young kids of authority with guns, police officers, right? Talking to me in a way that they wouldn't. That, not that I was like, oh, I'm scared, but it was like, well, it's just me and you out here. You got that. Without the badge, and another time, you wouldn't even look at me. But with the gun, in the night, in the badge, in the flashlight, now you John Wayne. I've had some stuff coming in from flights, and it's like big flights, and it's like, where were you? What? And they're asking me questions that normally I don't have to answer, but I have to get past you to get into the country. And you wouldn't even talk to me without your position. Little microaggressions, but it's in this space of like, I don't want that. I don't want to have to make it black or white. But in here is this a question of like, is it always going to be that on this soil, since there's so much unresolved, unspoken issues and pain and suffering that has happened here, that I find myself in a position to forgive, right? Now, it's not like I wake up angry about it. No. But I watch things happen, and to me, it's like, oh, that's obvious. And it takes somebody else a little bit longer. Like the question, is it really that bad? Is it? Is it really? Is it? Was this not a protest that got way out of hand, that we saw a few people get wired up and carried away? Maybe. Is there anyone besides me that could think in the most positive way, if that was any of a group, if that was Chinese people, it might have ended the same way, right? I honestly believe that it went the same way, peaceful. There's a conversation about black people in this country that we don't talk about. It's just unspoken. It's like we don't talk about it because then you become that person. Then, well, what's that person? What is that? Why am I at times afraid to be that person? And I know why. It's like, well, because I got love from, yeah. But the people who know that I love them and love me, they know I'm not talking about them. They know exactly who I'm talking about. But there's this expectation to never speak about this it's like a cloak, right? A cloth, a hood that we don't talk about, but it's bubbling below the surface. And this has been a really challenging, what is it, 9 months? A lot of people died. A lot of people died. Unfortunately, that this woman died, I don't know anything about the situation. That's I guarantee you that wasn't her idea that she was going to not be alive after this. It was and that's unfortunate. I mean that wholeheartedly to her family. That's unnecessary. And right, and I think that was more black people. I think some black people would have been shot. It wouldn't have been an approach for nonviolence. I don't think it would have been anything about nonviolence. I don't think that would have been the idea. I don't think you look at me and think, let's behave nonviolently. I don't think I exist in the minds of certain people to have that sort of value that you need to behave with me nonviolently. I don't have it that's real. I don't have it. I can't speak in the world, but definitely here. Definitely in the United States. Definitely. Now I sound like Rain Man. Most definitely. Most definitely. But for real. And at the end of the day, yeah, rage comes up, anger over top of the sadness that I live here. I'm raising my daughter here. I had to explain this to my daughter in a way that isn't like radical and isn't angry. It's just explaining. I gotta explain the BS in a way that doesn't taint her innocent spirit who doesn't know what's going on in this world. Right? I don't have her watch the news with me. I don't have her in the business of what's going on right now because it's not a good look. It's not a good business. It's not profitable for me at all. So she can feel it. She can hear it. She was walking the dog and was like, what's happening? It was like a little protest. And then she saw a little bit and I decided to explain some stuff to her. And she was like, why? And, of course, she's not an infant, but she's still like, why did that happen? And why? And the woman, and her question was, I said, well, a woman got killed. And she said, well, was it a black woman? I was like, no. See, now that is so different than how she was maybe a year ago. She didn't talk black and white. It's 8 to 10 months right now with the killings of the black people, with the police officers, has actually created a situation where you ask me to do too much work to protect. Why should I have to protect? Because I have to protect her, right? But it's like I'm holding her back from understanding how some aspects of America is. Yeah, we have some. Now we got some good white people. Most people are good. Most people are good. Really, you got a couple of not good people who go out and do some things that are extremely detrimental. So we have and I never want to taint her view of what's possible in the world and her friends, because that's a setup, right? I'm gonna set up. This is how it is, and white America does this, and now here, go to your school where you one of 7. Come on, why would I do that? Why would I do that? That would be super whack, right? And at the same time, I'm not going to keep the secret. It's like like some kind of shame. I'm gonna keep the secret of really was clearly intentional information that's being given out. Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you walk away with anything that I said, mediocre white men are killing America. Mediocre. That's who's doing it. They're actually the hands that are doing it. Mediocre men are ruining the world. But here in this America that can get away with what I saw today, I have never seen a gathering of more mediocre men ever than what I saw today, doing something harmful, just as mediocre as can be. And you see, when you get enough mediocrity together, can actually move something. It didn't move anything forward. It didn't make it great. It didn't make, what is it? What's the campaign? I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. What is it? Make something. Make something about America. It's not make America great again, but it's something. And I don't understand black people, black men wearing Magna hats in the scar. I don't understand it. I don't understand the allure. I don't get it. I don't have a Trump. I don't have a Biden. I don't. Who wears political garb? You know what I mean? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand. And I don't want to understand it. And what I saw tonight is definitely something that I do not have the desire to understand. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I get it. Yet again, I'm shown again that like, know your place. Know your place. You'll be okay. Just stay quiet and sit off to the side and don't try to do too much, and don't try to do what we do. And it's an unfortunate reminder. So I'm not mad. I don't get mad. I don't get mad at it. It's just like, oh, I forgot. And it's like, don't forget. Don't ever forget. Don't you ever come around here again. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget. If you did half of that, you get double. You know, the multiplication, and you're talking about, my daughter thinks she's not good at math. Listen, you're going to have to work twice as hard to get half the results. You know what I mean? Like in that world, you're going to be good at math or you're going to be lost. So I see that they get to do double the audacity to do what they did today. Imagine me doing that. And to see them get like cradled off lovingly, massages on them. Go. You all right? You good? Did you see them? Did you see the guy help the woman down the stairs? Terrorism. Today we saw acts of terrorism that no one really rightfully wanted to call terrorism. And it took a black senator. I should know her name. This would be more impactful. But she was on CNN. I think she was with Joy. And then, Jones came on, and terrorism. Today was an act of terrorism. Call it what it is. They weren't just angry protesters. That was an act of terrorism. They had an intention to do something in the House, to do something to the Senate. That's an act of terrorism. And there are rules and laws and things that, I was going to do the air quotes. I hate air quotes. But there's things that should be happening to the people arrested. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I think nowadays getting arrested is a luxury because you could be dead, right? So that's the memo I get. But anyway, listen, thank y'all for hanging out with me just a little bit today. This is your boy Samin. This is the Sam Mayir Show. And that was it. I lost my mojo. It took me a while to set up and things, but I'm back on my joint. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Peace. Listen, love your daughters. Love you. Listen, I don't know. We love each other. We need to work on that. That's for sure. But what's happening right now is just a little bit. And I do live on the first floor, right? It's interest level. So I'm like, I hope they don't get a little wacky out here. And I did go get my teeth cleaned the other day. Yo, thank you. I had to go. I went to the dentist the other day. I took Cyan to the dentist, and while I was in there, I was like, well, can I make an appointment? They were like, yeah. I made an appointment, get my teeth cleaned. I'm almost embarrassed. I'm going to tell you, but they said, well, it's been a while. I missed 5 sessions. So every 6 months, you should get your teeth cleaned. I missed 5. Yo, it's not like I was walking around with the dragon. No, but the mask, this was like, yo, what is happening? Like, what's that? Why is the mask? Anyway, they did it. I got to go back again for a deep gum. It's all part of the world of like looking good on the outside, but really being good on the inside. But I didn't realize, and I see that I have quietly falling into the parent that takes care of their kid far better than they take care of themselves. I take care of Cyan far better than I take him. Oh, what's that on your shoulder? Oh, it's a little pimple. I think we need to go to the dermatologist. Oh, what's that? We need to go. Me, I'm like, oh, what's going on with your shoulder? Oh, it just doesn't lift up all the way. But I probably just need to drink more water and stretch it out. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I did took care of my teeth because, as you know, I've been talking about it a little bit. And it's done. I can't even tell anybody what to do, but I'm back on my swag again with that. And it was that woman who was cleaning my teeth is, I guess, a frontline worker, right? Because she was in my mouth. I don't know if that's considered a frontline, but she had the mask on, the shield, and a mask and the light, looking like a miner, like in a tunnel miner, not a young miner, right? So, and she was in there. And she was like, "This is gonna hurt because I got to go in there." And I have a high threshold for pain, physically and emotionally, right? So I can handle things that don't work, and it wasn't working. She was going in, and so now I have another appointment. Anyway, thank y'all for hanging out with me. Love, love, love. Get your teeth clean. Love, love. You probably do. You're like, no, nasty. We get our teeth clean. We get our teeth clean. Anyway, take good care. Love, love, love your daughters. Thank y'all for hanging out with me.